Everybody, welcome back to Holt Growers. I'm your host, Timothy Holt, and today we're looking at these southern beds behind me, and it's time to pull everything off and see what is underneath. Most likely we'll still be covering it back up with the black. I know the blue tarps didn't work as well as black plastic, which is understandable if you understand how the tarps refract the light sources. But we're going to pull them off and see what's underneath and start setting it up for our garden beds and cultivation. So stay with me and stay tuned. All right, well, as you can see, I took off all of the covers, and our neighbor's dog is barking at our chickens, which is kind of funny. So let's see what we've got going on here. So this is where the old tarp was. It was a single layer, and as you can see, a lot of sun came through that tarp, and we still have quite a bit of plant growth. So we'll physically pull pull all of these up and get them pitched out of here. And then where that black tarp was started, you can see almost a defined line on the ground where that black plastic was. And for the most part, we have dirt. There's a little bit of weed growth still. What's that? Oh, some plastic. Better throw that away. A little bit of plastic under here, right there. And some of that invasive bamboo looking stuff is still around. I'm really surprised by how, because this black plastic has been down since early spring, and I expected the heat of July, no water, no sunlight, to really affect that and get that and kill that off. But apparently those roots must run very deep. A little disappointing there, but nothing we can't address. So we still have some of this grass that's not fully decomposed yet, which is understandable. We can also see where the water runs has been hitting the cracks and running. You can see the water lines running through here. The other thing that's interesting is all these ant holes. I don't know how well you can see them in the video, but there's a lot of ant holes. On this property, we had an carpenter ant infestation before I bought the property. It was the damage to the house and shop were addressed already, and I thought I got rid of all the ants. Also, that was another reason for our chickens. If you watch one of our previous videos covering the six essentials that chickens provide a small farmer, pest mitigation, insect mitigation is one of them. And you can actually, I don't know how well you can make it out in the video, but you can see some of the ants. They're not nearly as prolific as they were, but they're still there. So this here hasn't been on as long. It's only been on for about 5 weeks, maybe 6. I'd have to go back and look at the video covering us putting this on. But this was also a tarp, newer tarp, brand new. So it definitely killed off most of the grass, but there's still some growing from the sunlight coming through. In contrast, this tarp we put down about 3 weeks ago, it's black, and it's all dead underneath. So definitely going with the black plastic here. So that's how that looks. What we're gonna do is on the fence row, there's a bunch of landscaping rock. It's about 4 foot wide, and it's at least 1 to 2 feet, 1.5 to 2 feet deep. That's how far down I've dug, seeing how deep that landscaping rock is. We're not gonna worry about cultivating that into usable soil that close to the fence row either anyway. So what we're gonna do is take that OSB, we're gonna layer it on pretty thick. It's 3/8 inch thick OSB. We'll probably go with 2, maybe even 3 layers rake it all out with the garden rake so it's all level, relatively level and smooth, and then we're going to put the OSB right over top of it, probably 2 layers thick, maybe 3, alternating our seams so we can continue to mitigate any of those bamboo looking weeds from propagating and coming into our beds. The other part of that is there'll be a nice walkway on the side, so aesthetically it'll look nice. It'll also functionality, it'll give us plenty of access to that side without having to really brush up against that fence too much. So I'm going to go ahead and probably do a time-lapse video. I may on putting that OSB in. May not do that today. It is getting really hot. I don't know if you can see all the sweat just pouring off of me, but sometimes you got to work in the heat when you work outside. So plenty of fluids and keep moving. Thank you for watching, and if I do end up doing a time lapse, I'll add it on to the end of this video. So may God richly bless you, and as always, get out, grow something today. What a long day here at Holt Growers. With this heat and the sun, plenty of sweet, delicious tea getting drank. However, we're done for the day. We did get these covered back up, pulled off whatever was green, just manually pulled that out and pitched it, got rid of it. If it was brown and already starting to decompose, we simply left it so it finished decomposing and put that wonderful organic matter back in the ground. What we did do with the tarps, since the blue tarps did not work as well as the black plastic, is put them closer to the road behind the property here. That is going to get seeded with a nice grass seed, because so we don't get the creeping Charlie and some of the other invasive weeds as prevalent between the fence row and the road. So we're going to go ahead and kill everything off of there too, and then seed it real nice with some nice grass seed for 8 to 10 feet from the edge of the road to the fence row. And then we'll have our walkway border on the other side of the fence row before our beds actually start. So it's not as important. What we did do with those blue tarps, however, is fold them in half in order to block out more sun, just make it a little more effective. The black plastic, we have 25 foot, no, 20 foot, sorry. 20 foot long and 30 feet wide here. So that's going to be our southern beds. And where the seams are, we use the OSB that was already down here just to put some weight on the seams so the wind doesn't blow it off. Here first week in September, we'll pull this out again and probably start breaking up the soil, cultivating it, and getting it ready for the garlic to go in over the winter. We'll see how the weeds are at that point and go from there. If it's looking good, then we'll do our garlic and cover crop going in for the winter. If not, then it'll stay covered longer. It's that simple. It's much better to kill off the weeds and get rid of those invasive weeds right from the get-go than constantly chasing them all summer long while trying to grow crops. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and got something out of it. As always, may God bless you, and get out, grow something today. This is Timothy Holt signing off here at Holt Growers.